Welcome students. Welcome to the video lectures of software engineering. The subject code is PC 501 CS. Okay, PC 501 CS. So let us start today's topic. So it is about software engineering principles. So what are software engineering principles? So basically the software engineering is generally guided by some collection of core principles which helps in the application of our software process and also for the execution of effective software engineering methods. So we need certain principles and these are called as software engineering principles. So now you can see here. So what are the software engineering principles are? Okay. First one, guidelines for building high quality software. So we get the guidelines of how to do this particular task. So those are the guidelines which will be given by our software engineering principles. Next is it helps in organizing the process and avoiding common mistakes. So there are common mistakes which everyone will do most probably while they are executing a software project. So in order to execute it in an effective manner, these principles help us. Next we have third point is applicable across all phases of software development. So we know there are few multiple phases in software development. So these principles will be applied at each and every step. So in order to get the quality out of the entire project. So now let us look at what are the principles that guides the process. So now below you can see these are the set of some core principles which can be applied to the framework and by extension to every software process. So the principles are, first one is be agile. So what is agile? Agile is to adapt to changes. Okay. So adapting to the changes is here being agile. Okay. So being agile says that we need to follow an adaptive and flexible development process so that we'll quickly respond to the changes. So basically every agile model will depend upon the constant feedback that what we get from the customer and we do the changes accordingly. Right. So that is what being agile. So to understand this agile be agile principle, which is mentioned as first here. So you can take one example. So let us say, so there is a, startup. Okay. Sorry. So let us assume there is a startup. Okay. So these are trying to, let us take one application like they're doing some e-learning application. Okay. So now when they start doing this e-learning application, so they use this agile model, right? So that is the reason they come up with the agile sprints. So during these agile sprint, so for every sprint, what they do is they try to release some features for every 2 weeks or 3 weeks based on the students' feedback. So this means there is a constant feedback what they are getting from the students, and based on such feedback, they are doing the changes. So that is the reason I told you being agile is to adapt to the changes regularly. Clear? So let us try to focus on the second point. Okay. This second point says that focus on quality at every step. Right. So we need to have a focus on quality at every step. So which means we have to ensure that each step in the development process maintains a focus on high quality. So for example, if you have a continuous integration and you have a plan of automated testing, which are made during your development of your project. So this will catch the issues so early such that, you can focus on this quality at each and every level. Okay, that is what you have to ensure, which means there should be a constant, there should be a regular review kind of thing, and such that you can get a quality product out of this. So next is be ready to adapt. So this is nothing but modify the development approach as the project evolves. Okay. So let us say you have a project within a finance domain. Let us say you are doing some banking software project, and as soon as you started doing that, and you have entered some phase of your software development, and you are doing that project. So suddenly the government or the RBI have come up with some kind of new compliance rules. So when these new compliance rules are introduced, then you have to adapt to all those, and design these you have to design in such a way such that you have to meet these new regulations. Okay. So these are in the things where you need to ready to adapt at any point of time, because unless and until you have this kind of adapting to the changes, you cannot have a successful software, right? So now the example is, so we have some new compliance rules which have come. So now the team should what? What the team will do? So the team adapts, right? So the team adapts, the team adapts the design to meet the new regulations. Regulations or those compliance rules which have come up. Okay. So that is about be ready to adapt. So now let us talk about the fourth point, that is to build an effective team. Okay. To build an effective team. So what is building an effective team? So any software engineering process, and practice are very important, where the bottom line is people everywhere. So we have to build a self-organizing team, so that which will have a mutual trust and respect. Okay. Wherein you in order to build such an effective team, so we need some collaboration and trust among the team members. So then only we can lead to the success. So unless and until you have this kind of trust or collaboration or a teamwork, so you cannot have guaranteed success. So that is the reason why building an effective team is very important. So for example, if you take a company, let us say there is a company. So for building an effective team, where they will have some kind of cross-functional teams. Okay. So I'll just try mention here. We will have cross-functional teams. So what does this cross-functional teams does is, they include, I mean, this cross-functional team includes all the sort of tech people in it, like the developers, designers, testers. Okay. All these people together will work as a cross-functional team. Okay, such that you will have even a very effective team. Okay, that is about building the effective team. So next we have establish communication mechanisms. Okay, we have to establish communication mechanisms. So the effective communication will always ensure us the all the stakeholders are on the same page, right? So unless and until you have effective communication that is being happening, so you cannot ensure that all the things are falling in right direction. So that is the reason why communication is very important. And of course, we have communication principles as a separate topic, which we'll also discuss in the next forthcoming slides as well. Okay. So majority of the projects, fail because the important information, falls into the cracks, and whereas, the stakeholders fail to coordinate their efforts. So wherein failing in getting a successful end product. So that is what happens when you don't really have a very well established mechanism for communication and coordination. So basically, these communications, these are considered to be the management issues. So which should be resolved. Okay. So for example, you can use the modern communication, applications in order to reduce these kind of conflicts. Conflict in the sense, in order to reduce such miscommunications or not the communication not being happening, or whatever the reason might be. Like in these days, you're viewing all these Zoom, Slack, and many other, which are used by remote teams, to maintain some clear communication channels. And in such a way, there are many other ways also. I mean, there are many other modern applications that have come up. So wherein you have to use them for building some effective communication mechanism in your project. So next is to manage the change. So managing the changes to control how and when the changes are introduced into your project. Okay. And based upon those changes, for example, let's say GitHub issues and pull requests are used to track and approve the changes to the code, right? So in such a way, whatever the change. So either the change can be, it could be the approach may be either formal or informal, but mechanism must be established, okay, to encounter or manage these changes. So whenever the changes are requested, you should be able to manage all this. Okay. And next we have assess the risk. So as we know, lots of things can go wrong as software is being developed. So it's very much essential for us to establish some contingency plans. Okay. If not, you may be in danger. So that is what, yeah, assessing the risk says. Okay. So wherein you have to identify. So you have to identify and for you have to identify and prepare for what? Potential problems. Right. We may get, right, when we go on developing our project, we may get many of such. So we should be able to be ready for that. So in order to understand such kind of potential problems, let us discuss any one problem like that. So let us say you have built an e-commerce application. Okay, e-commerce application. So what could be the potential problem? Let me tell you. So for example, you have a payment gateway for the customers whoever buys the product will go through this payment gateway. So imagine, of course, there can be a failure with your payment gateway. So during this particular risk, so we have to have a what, backup payment method. Okay, we have to have a backup payment method which should be prepared in case the main payment gateway fails. Clear. So in such a way, you need to analyze the various risks that are associated with the project and have some list of such, and also prepare for such potential problems. So next point is create valuable work products. So here you need to focus on producing the artifacts that really add the value to it. Okay. For example, so let us take a use case diagram in such a case. Okay. So use case diagram, which is a work product which comes out of your project. So where it is created only if it helps, to clarify the requirements of developers. So that is about creating the valuable work products. Hope you understood these points.